I was asked a question the other day. I forgot the lady's name. She said, "Why does either her boyfriend or husband treat one of the children different?" So, as a narcissist, right, one of the traits for me is that I'm overbearing, and when I become overbearing, I overdo things, right, and I overtake people. My personality, I'm doing something when I was in the Navy, if I thought I believed in it, or what's worse is that when my ex would call me out, any ex, I would become overbearing and try to recover and recuperate from her telling me the truth. Anyway, what happens is when you have a child and your husband or wife, ex-girlfriend, boyfriend, they treat one child different from the other one. There's a reason why they do that. When my son, we got into it about 5 years ago, and he tilted his head and looked at me, he smirked and he shook his head. He was 20 years old. And I blew up. Very overbearing, very over the top, yelled and screamed, and I put him out. I didn't like being wrong, even when I was wrong. Narcissists and narcissistic people, when they're wrong, when you prove wrong, it does something to them inside where they have to become vindictive and they go into a rage. So I became vindictive and I went into a rage against my son and I put him out to go live with his mother. This was 5 years ago. We're cool now. I had to learn these things about my rage, my anger. What happens is the reason why your husband, your wife, your ex-husband or ex-wife is treating one of the children differently than they treat the other children is because that child challenges them. But the main reason why they treat that child different from the other child is because that child that they have a problem with reminds them of the parent that they don't like, reminds them of you. Not in a bad way. For me, it was a bad way because my ex-wife used to look at me and smirk and tilt her head like when she knew I was wrong, and it's just like, and so my son got that trait. Naturally, he got it from her because when I was wrong, he tilted his head and he smiled, smirked like, "You just don't get it, you mother." He didn't say that. But the reason why they treat the child differently than they treat the other child is because the child that's like you, they don't like, they have a problem with. I don't mean to say they don't like, but they have a problem with. If you notice, the other child that they like, that's like them, they don't treat that child the way that they treat the one that's like you. They treat that child better because they relate better, because that child does the same thing, acts the same way, and has the same traits as me. So we get along. Like my other son, I get along with all my kids now. My other son has more traits like me, so we don't clash. He doesn't call me out. He doesn't prove me wrong. My other son, which I love my kids dearly, was back then, 5 years ago, called me out, tilted his head, smirked, and like, "You don't get it." And I lost it. So the reason why they do that is because that child reminds them of you, and they can't get past being angry at you when you are right and they are wrong. You have a great day.